Welcome back, everyone, to my weekly Dragon Oracle card series. The dragon card for this week, the week of September 28th, 2025, are the water dragons. So these water dragons help us to flow easily around obstacles. They want to remind us that Christ, light, and love are flowing. And they also help us to develop our psychic abilities and to go with the flow. So, the biggest impressions coming through as I was pulling this card is that as we have reached this next stage of our path of ascension, we have an opportunity to reframe obstacles as just other new, different experiences that are coming our way. And when we are in that present moment, when we are in the here and now, when we are not focused in on future hypotheticals or past experiences, when we're not stuck in those places that aren't the here and now, when we are able to be present, we are able to fully, with our whole selves, react and respond to the obstacles that present to us, and flowing more easily around those obstacles and going with the flow. These water dragons also, with that word obstacle, they want us to work on reframing that in a more positively connotated descriptive. So an obstacle, like when I think about learning the definition of an obstacle, it has that connotation of like, it would be better if that obstacle wasn't in front of me. Things would be easier if that obstacle, that thing that's blocking the path of wherever I want to go, whatever I want to do, it'd be better if it weren't there. But here, the water dragons are highlighting this opportunity that in this state of this, in this new level of our ascension, we are in a place, in a space energetically to look at that more as just another experience that we are moving through. So, we are souls having human experiences. So it is just another experience that is presenting itself to us. And when we are grounded in the present moment, we are able to assess and discern what is an aligned way to react and respond to that circumstance, that obstacle, that situation, that challenge. The Christ light has come up before in a couple of other cards here in this series. That Christ light is that divine influence, that divine energy and influence that illuminates everything. It's within and around and of everything, including ourselves. And this Christ light, this divine influence, this energy helps us when we're tuned in with it, when we're able to absorb it and allow it to move through us, in us, around us. We are able to be guided by that light to our aligned path and our aligned truth and our aligned purpose. It's a supportive energy that helps us to see essentially the illumination of all things around us, that helps guide us to that alignment. And developing our psychic abilities, going with the flow. The message coming through as I pulled this card in this regard, again, in this next phase of our ascension, we are more easily able to access our higher wisdom and draw upon that. And the things that are going on with the cosmos, with the planet, I spoke about that previously, where whether we're conscious of it or not, there are energetic shifts and changes going on with the cosmos, with the planets, with the universe, that is raising that elevation, that frequency elevation. The frequency is rising, elevating, And so this is allowing for more ease of access to our psychic abilities and gifts, our intuitive abilities and gifts. And so we're more easily able to access, therefore, we're more easily able to develop those abilities. And going with the flow of those things as well, going with the flow of how your psychic abilities, how your intuitive senses, how your knowings and sensing and feeling is presenting for you on your individual journey, and not comparing that to what we think it's supposed to look like, or a predefined way that a psychically developed person or an intuitively developed person moves through the world. They move through the world as you move through the world, because you are your unique individual, and every single human has that capacity to tap in and tune into that. It's not a select few. We all have that capability, and the shifts and changes, the energetic shifts and changes that are going on planetarily, cosmically, universally, and all are allowing for that capacity to expand with all of us. So, my name is Gia, and I am an intuitive psychic energy reader and healer. And it would be my pleasure to offer an individualized reading for you about the energy and messages coming through with this water dragon, to invite their support as we get accustomed to flowing more easily around those obstacles, those experiences in our lives that we may perceive as obstacles. And if you do reach out to me this week, I will offer you a discount on that reading, and it can be scheduled for anytime at all. So, the other part of this series, I again am still guided to be looking at symbols related to the messages that come through. So, I am going to pause the recording, and I'm going to take a look at a symbol related to these water dragons and the messages coming through, and I'll come back and let you know what that symbol is and the messages that came along with it. Okay, I'm back. So this was interesting. The symbol that came through was this kind of goblet, this metal goblet, and at first it appeared kind of like precious, like special, made of gold or whatever. But as I tuned in a little more intentionally, a little more focused in, it actually was plated. So it had that sense of like wanting to appear like solid gold, but it wasn't. And what we were doing with this goblet, this sort of chalice looking thing, is like there's this flow of water, like this flow of a river, and we're trying to get it to stand upright, to flow down the river upright. And each time that we would set it to upright and let it go, of course it just falls over and wants to just go, but it's still floating. It's just not floating in the way that we are trying to force it to float. And so the messages coming through with this, there were a couple of messages. So the first one was about what we bring to this notion of going with the flow, and in this context of like even going with the flow of the process of developing our psychic abilities and such, we feel like we have to prepare ourselves to be a certain way to be ready to do that, that there's something special that we have to do in order to do that. And the message here is that we don't, that the more we try to force something, it just limits the possibilities of what is true and possible. Because when we let go of trying to keep that goblet floating upright, it kept falling over, but it didn't sink. It still went with the flow, floating down the river. So that was the first message, not to get hung up on forcing ourselves to be like a certain way, like to be ready, to be, I'm not ready yet to let go and let it flow like that because I haven't done this right or I haven't done that yet. Or comparing ourselves to others in such a way that we lose sight of the fact that we do actually have that capacity and that ability to let go and go with the flow. The other part of this message, I talked about in a previous video how when metal shows up in a symbol, it can often be related to mental energy that is being expended on a certain aspect of a thing. So in this regard, this goblet being made of metal, having that sort of gold-plated exterior, is let's take that notion and that concept off the pedestal of, it's only the chosen few that are able to be psychic or able to be intuitive. I'm not intuitive. I can't do that. We all have the capacity to tap in and tune in to our intuition. It's the gut feeling. It's the vibe that you catch when you walk into a space. It's the butterflies in the tummy. It's the goosebumps. It's the hairs standing on the back of your neck. Those are ways that our spirit speaks to us, also through imagination. So when you are using your imagination, you are actually having a conversation with your higher self, with your spirit. So let's take the notion of this off the pedestal, and with the energetic shifts and changes that are going on, that are elevating this vibrational frequency for all of humanity, allowing for more access to this, ease of access to our higher selves, our higher wise selves, and take that notion of it's only the chosen few that get to be the psychics, that get to be the intuitives, and recognize that we're stepping into a new normal where we all are recognizing how our intuitive gifts are showing up in our lives without the predefined conditions on that, without the comparative energy, without the notions of this is the right or the wrong way. The right way is your way, and it might not look like anyone else's, but that doesn't mean that it is not valid and true. And letting go of that false truth that there are only the chosen few, and that I'm just a, I was going to say I'm just a lowly, person here doing my thing. I don't have access to that. I can't do that. I'm not special enough. But simply by existing as you are, as a human, as a spirit, having human experiences, you inherently have that capacity and ability to put your intentions toward developing your gifts and abilities, intuitive and psychic gifts and abilities, and going with the flow of those rather than forcing that to look like what you think it's supposed to look like, recognizing the individual journey and that individual journey is going to be unique to you. There will be commonalities, of course, as we are connected in to that collective consciousness, but your unique path and your unique journey going with the flow of that as well. So, these are the messages that came through with these beautiful water dragons. I am looking forward to seeing how these messages manifest for me this week. And yeah, I did clear and heal that symbol for us. And what I started to see as I cleared and healed that symbol is a whole bunch of, different vessels and goblets and things just flowing down this river, and just all of us just kind of going with the flow of the experiences that present ourselves to us. And let's work on reframing that word obstacle. At least I'm going to work on that, because obstacle for me has that connotation of something that I'd rather, I'd be better off without the obstacle. I'd be better off without the challenge. But here is an opportunity where these water dragons want to help us reframe that and support us as we do go with the flow. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time.